Hey y'all, I'm Joy. For today's video, I'm excited to go over the Morphe 39S Such a Gem palette. Before I get into it, I want to invite you guys to go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And also please consider liking this video if you found it helpful. It would really be a huge help to me. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get into the video. So let's take a look at her. She's so beautiful. And sorry, mine is a little banged up. I have been busy in this palette the last few days. I went ahead and created 10 looks for you guys using these beautiful colors. And I know a lot of people can tend to be intimidated by color, but in this palette, you'll notice there are actually a lot of neutral tones over on this side. We've got some reds and some burgundies and some warm tones. And then you've got some cool tones in here as well as the purple and the pink. So personally, I have not been really super attracted to Morphe or their products for a while. However, when this palette came out, I just could not get over the color story. I thought it was really, really beautiful. So for our video today, I'm going to go ahead and show you swatches. I'm going to show you 10 different looks using this palette, and then I'm going to provide you with my overall thoughts on the palette and my experience with it. So if that sounds interesting to you, just stay tuned. So some quick facts about the palette. This I purchased from the Morphe site itself. It does retail for $35. There are 39 shades in here, and there are 7 various formulas. The most exciting of which are these new silk slip toppers here along the center. These are a super glittery formula. They're almost like a wet formula. And then there are mattes, there are shimmers, there are what they're calling sheen formula. And overall, you just have this beautiful color story with 7 different formulas. I also attached the names here to the top of my palette. I apologize for the glare, but that way I can go ahead and reference this for you guys to show you guys which colors I used for each look. So let's get into some swatches now. So those are the swatches. They're beautiful. And I want to show you guys 10 different looks using this palette. I think it's really versatile and I had a lot of fun creating these looks. palette. I have some notes. So basically overall, the mattes I felt could be a little bit on the dry side, and they also tend to be a little teeny bit patchy and skipped a little bit in my experience. Now, I did do 10 looks. I had to clean my eyes off between each look. I didn't use any primer. I just went straight into the lid to show you guys how this product was independently. My eyelids might have been a little wet. That might have been part of my experience, but they were easily built up. And once they were built up, they tended to be less patchy and less skipping. I thought the color scheme of the palette was really beautiful. And I know I've said that a couple times. It really attracted me and it made me feel inspired to use the palette. The new silk slip toppers were obviously the most exciting to me. That's the reason I'm going to keep reaching for that palette. Those toppers were just beautiful and so fun to play with. I really enjoyed them. And this is the very first palette they've released with this formula. In terms of the pressed glitter formula show off, that one I'm going to be a little bit more hesitant to use. I might recommend it with a glitter glue. When I first used it, I went in with my finger, I dabbed it all over my eyelid, and I had glitter all over my face. So with a glitter glue, it might be better. I also, when I tried to remove it with a makeup remover, I had glitter literally just smearing. It was so hard to remove. It just seemed like it was getting everywhere in my hair, my eyebrows, so it was a little bit of a mess. But with a glitter glue, it might work better. Today I tried it on my eyes with a brush. It was a much softer application and I didn't see as much fallout. I maybe got like 3 little chunks of glitter that fell out that I just swept away, but it was like a lot before. Things that could be concerns. So for me, kick up and fallout is not that big of a deal, especially kick up. I really don't care about kick up at all. Fallout can be a little bit annoying, but this would be a palette I'd recommend doing your eyes first, especially with the purples. I found a lot of fallout, which I'm sure you saw in the looks when using the purples. I do tend to go in a little heavy-handed. I like the color in the palette to show up on my face. I don't want like a wash of it, especially when I'm showing you guys how a color performs or what it looks like. I really want to do a more, you know, a built up look to really show the colors and show what they're capable of. Obviously, if I'm going to work, I'm going to do more of like a wash of color. But there was a significant amount of fallout on some of the shades, which is you know, just a fact of life, I guess. And if that bothers you, I just want you to be aware of it. I love playing with the palette. I love the versatility of it. We may not be wearing pink and purple every day. Maybe you do, but I would say a lot of people probably, especially if you're working full time, you're looking for more like work appropriate looks and such. And I like that this palette had so many neutral tones, warm tones, wearable tones. And even if they had some lighter, if they had a light lavender and a light pink, that you could do like a wash of a pastel or something for work. So I like that that was included. The one thing I found missing from the palette was like a lavender shade. There was one shade, actually I have 2 recommendations. So this shade right here, it is called Dazzleum, is the most like fall flattiest color to me in the palette. It barely shows up. There's barely any pigment to it at all. It's just kind of like a throwaway to me. And then these 2 colors, even though they look kind of different in the pans, I feel like they both kind of looked really similar when swatched. So I feel like maybe they could have replaced any of these 3 colors with a lavender. Like they have this kind of glitter version of it here, but a matte lavender I think would be really pretty in here, personally. But I have matte lavender, so I'll just reach into another palette. But I would recommend maybe, that would have been my choice, to put a lavender in place of one of those 3 shades. Overall, I really like this palette. I had fun playing with it. I love all the options. I mean, variety is the spice of life. So I really enjoyed that. I love the color story. I found it very inspiring. I like the versatility of the palette. I love they included so many different formulas. I found it really fun to play with. So anyway, I hope this review was helpful for you guys and gave you some ideas. I hope you enjoyed seeing the 10 different looks. I hope you'll consider subscribing, and again, like this video if you found it helpful. And I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you real soon. All right, bye.